Yo, what's up? It's your boy Kalipula back at it again with another video, and this one's gonna be a little bit different, you know? I mean, I've been doing videos for a while now, and this is like pretty much the first project that I've ever finished. So my project that I'm going to tell you guys today is like my 50 States of America Khmer Romanization project. And you may ask me, Pula, what does that mean? Well, you know, if you want to know what that means, like, I'm just gonna get into it and like explain to you guys what it's all about and stuff. So without further ado, let's jump in. So what is my project, you may be asking? Voila, what's that? Okay, I'm gonna tell you. So this project, I've created it like ever since maybe the start of in like late 2021. It is now like early 2022 as I'm filming this, like January 7th. So my project is a project where I try and Romanize every name in America into Khmer. So this means like states, cities, and stuff like that, you know? It is also a project to make everyone agree on one way of writing. For example, like the California example. If you're just gonna write one as California and then you write another one as California, how the hell is everyone gonna agree to that, you know? So if we agree on one way of writing, it will be much easier for communicators to like talk to someone, you know? If you go to someone and be like, hey yo, where do you go this holiday? And then you're gonna say like, oh, Matt, untuk mau pergi California. And then your mom be like, huh? California? California, eh? You know? So, you know, if you say like California instead, and then like agree on that one, we won't have any confusion between that, you know? Another thing that I want this project to be is that I wanted to make it more complete, you know? I want to make Khmer, the language, more complete. Most English names in writings are like ignored like most of the time. I don't know why, but sometimes in this is also another tidak muay like example, you know, because as I always say, I'm a language nerd, so I always see this shit. I see that most of the names aren't really that translated. When it is like, you know, Romanized correctly and stuff, it will make our language more filled up to the brim and more complete. So this way, you know, our language can walk in the correct direction. And plus, our language feels like a real language now because, you know, you have the names of different places and you just tell them, oh, you're from that, and thus making it more complete. So as you guys have known that, like, you know, the Romanization of Cambodia from English to Khmer isn't really that advanced right now. For example, like, you know, in Khmer textbooks, especially in my grade right now, I'm a 11th grader, so like, you know, I kinda care about spellings and shit because, you know, I'm a kind of a Khmer nerd myself, so, you know, yeah, I do kind of care about this shit. If we look at the word California, right? The word California is spelled in the book, it's spelled as California. I mean, how the fuck do you come with four as Paul? I think it's because like this Romanization method back then, they don't really know how to Romanize the f sound, so they just use paw instead, you know? But now, after a while, they kinda changed the thing from California to California. The reason why I say California is because this we translated from French, okay? Yeah, from French instead of from the English one, which is California. So translating from French is actually a little easier because I don't know. But you know, they transliterated in Khmer as California, but people still use California and California like interchangeably, you know. Another example you could see is Phoenix. You know Phoenix, Arizona? Yeah, Phoenix, Arizona, in grade 11 in geography, they spell it as Pernet. I mean, like, how? How does Phoenix become Pernet? Maybe it's because the translators, they see the spelling as like, oh, P and H, right? P and H, in English, we pronounce it as F. But then Khmer, we PH, it's pronounced as P. For example, like in a poem, because poem also use ph as well, so like that's how it started like that. They also transliterated and romanized it to phoenix. Ho chừng vô a and then nose a and jaw phoenix. But you know, as I said, they still use it interchangeably, you know, without something in the middle to like decide, oh, what to use and stuff, you know. And this is like kind of a problem that I kind of saw with my own eyes, because you know, I like to read a lot, but I mean not now, but I used to research and shit, and then like when I research, sometimes names like this kind of confuses me, because you know, whenever I go to Google and then I type these names, it doesn't pop up. You know, it really is kind of a struggle when you have like a romanization system that isn't really that in the middle, like, you know, unanimous. Everyone uses it. Some would use that way and the others would have to use that way. So, you know, it's not really in the middle. Okay, so you might have heard me talk about like, oh, what my project is. Now we're going to like explain, oh, what I want my project to be. So I want my project, you know, to be agreed on, so like people won't argue. As I explained like in the California example, yeah, that is like one reason why, you know. Okay, let's take another example. Let's say you're from Phoenix, right? Okay, let's say you went to Phoenix, Arizona. I don't know why would you go to Phoenix, Arizona, because I think there's a lot of stuff happening there, but I don't know. Let's take Phoenix for example. If you just go to someone and say, I'm from Phoenix, you'll be like, what the hell is Phoenix? And then like you would say the English name, right? Phoenix, Arizona. And then they'll be like, oh, you mean Phoenix, Arizona? Yeah. Tích tha cho lắm Arizona nâng là Arizona. No, it's not that, okay? I just want it to be agreed on, like the translation, so that you know we don't have to argue about it and like go to war and start like raising flags and be like, I want translation to be this and shit. No, please, okay? So agree on it and boom, you're good. Secondly, like I want everything to be in Khmer so that you know research can be a breeze. If you're like translating stuff and then like you know you have these names, right, and then you know like you search them in the internet, it will be easier to see, because you know sometimes in Khmer we don't really have like an agreement on how we write stuff yet, because we still have problems. For example, the Pshin problem, which like you know, fucking hell, they still haven't solved that yet. So like people would sometimes write mix. For example, samrap, right? The word samrap, sometimes they spell it as Pshin so that's ro, that's a. Bo ro that's a, I mean ro that's a, okay? So like you know, samrap. But sometimes people spell it as so that's a chừng ro that's a bo. Okay, let me stop this real quick. I actually meant to say so mo chừng ro that's a bo. But then I don't know why I slip in the sra'am in. Yeah, apologies, man. Like what the fuck? Like just agree on one thing for fuck's sake. How come they haven't solved this yet? I mean, yeah, since like the Jordan era, and now like we're in like the new era now. Please, man, like agree on one way of writing, okay? Yeah, I heard from like the Khmer Times that they're going to make a new dictionary soon, but like I don't know when is it gonna be coming out. I mean like it's coming out right now. I could just review it and see like, oh yeah, okay, I'll maybe change my way. But you know, I ain't a perfectionist. As I said, I ain't a perfectionist. So like you know, I'll just see, and like maybe if there's something wrong, I may like just tell them, maybe like you know give them my idea, and maybe they would think about it next, and like maybe they could implement it on it. But as I said, I ain't no perfectionist, and I ain't gonna go into perfectionism, so let's just leave it be. Thirdly, I also want this project to like strengthen the ties between like Khmers and Americans. So you know, if you contacting someone who is in an American state, for example, they're in Washington, right? By the way, not Washington DC, okay? Washington. I mean, if you just tell them and just write in English, why the hell would you bother like alt shift and then change language and stuff? You know, just write it in Khmer, Washington. Okay, I still don't know how they spell it, Washington or Washington, you know, like Wasing or Wasin, you know, so like please let me know in the comments below. So like, you know, it would also strengthen ties between us and Americans. For example, like if you're working in a Cambodian embassy in America, you know, writing would be a lot easier, so like people could understand what you're talking about and stuff. One more thing is that when you study, when you put like the correct romanization, it will be a lot easier for students to research, as I said above, because like, you know, I don't know, maybe you're kind of a nationalist, so like, you know, you just want to use everything in Khmer. So, you know, yeah, that's a good thing for you nationalists out there. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light? I'm having too much fun, man, I'm sorry. Another thing is that, like, you know, this could be the right step, like, for our language, you know, the step, like, in the right direction. It will make our language more appealing, you know, and, you know, easier, like, you know, for us to know stuff, as I said. I mean, I'm just repeating stuff and like, I'm sorry, I'm just like, I don't know, this project is kinda, I don't know, just go along with it. You know, it may be like the next step into the right direction because it will make our language more fulfilled and like, you know, make our ancestors more happy about it. And if you're gonna be like bumhurt and be like, oh my god, are you trying to destroy our language or something? Just keep it to yourself, okay? Just keep it to yourself. There's no need to start an argument with me. Please, just like for any Karens out there, just please, just keep it to yourself, yeah? Alright, so like I've talked about all this stuff. I now want to show you for the first time what the file looks like. So without further ado, let's dive into the depths of the iceberg of these files. Yeah! Okay, so like, you know, now you guys can see the files, right? The files, like I put the name as name of all 50 states and cities of the United States of America in Khmer, which if you translate it into Khmer, it means ឈ្មោះនៃរដ្ឋទាំង50និងទីក្រុងទាំងអស់របស់រដ្ឋទាំង50នៃសហរដ្ឋអាមេរិកជាខេមរៈភាសាឬក៏ភាសាខ្មែរ And as you can see, so I took every state and like put them in alphabetical order and I translated them all one by one, and also I took the cities and also named them too. Now you might be asking, Bola, what's the system are you using here like to translate and stuff? So the system that I'm translating here is that I used French and English as like the core of translating these names. For example, the word here, like Atlanta, you may have seen this translated before, right? You may have seen Atlanta being translated to Atlanta or Atlanta. I don't know. People like pronunciations in Khmer is kind of like because you know you write it as Atlanta, right? And we pronounce it as Atlanta. You know. I also translate it as like, you know, translations that you've seen before. So, for example, let's go to Washington, right? Washington, the state. So, Olampisha, right? You may have seen this before. Have you ever been to Olampisha in Phnom Penh? Yeah, the big, is it a supermarket? Is it a, yeah, I think it's a supermarket, yeah. Olampisha, yeah. You guys have seen this translated before, so like, you know, I'm just gonna put that in. But with everything that I've translated, there is still like some problems. For example, here in Idaho, I translated as Idaho, right? But the city name here is, in French, it's pronounced as Beauvoir, which means like a tree or a forest, if I remember correctly. Okay, I'll put the corrections in if I'm wrong. But in English, it's pronounced as Boise, which to me is like a complete 360, a complete 180 turn of what the word should be pronounced. Because, you know, I mean, both of these versions are like 180 degrees apart from how it should be pronounced. Because if I see this with my English mind, I'd be like, oh, boys. But it's actually just pronounced Boise, or in French, it's Beauvoir. Beauvoir. I don't know how to pronounce it. Also in Iowa, the word Des Moines, it's pronounced Des Moines in English. Des Moines. I don't know. I don't remember. So like, you know, this is also like another French thing. So these are kind of some problems, you know. I mean, if you guys could like give me ideas on which side to depend on, please let me know, because you know, I don't know if I should depend on English or I should depend on French, because you know, French has been like the way of romanizing stuff from English into Khmer for like a very long time. But you know, I just want to translate it into English because you know, we are French isn't really the lingua franca of Cambodia anymore. We are now taking English as a second language. Thus, we are trying to like, you know, translate everything from English, right? Using English as the main goal. But I don't know. You guys decide if you want. If you guys want French to be the main way of translating, then yeah, leave your comments down below. But the main problem that I kind of faced was for the state of Florida, right? Florida. I mean, have you ever heard of Tampa, Florida? Tallahassee, Florida? Yeah, Florida. The name of the city isn't really a problem here because you know, it's Tallahassee. Yeah, it's obvious. But the freaking word Florida, in Khmer, we could write it as Ha Chừng Vô Chừng Lo. But isn't that kind of like, you know, it kind of how it like the space to write. So I mean, like how the fuck we don't have a letter that defines the word pho, as I said. So like, you know, I take how people would translate it back then. Plo, Pa Chừng Lo, right? Plo. So plo, that's all, is plo. And rit. So plorit, the reason why I put it as plorit is because in French it's called plorit. Okay? I mean, it's pronounced florit in French, but I'm just gonna write it like this because you know, there hasn't been a letter to define the F sound, the F sound. So we just so now like we are using plo as a way to define the name Florida, in the floor in Florida. I wish there's like a way to show how the F sound is like defined, because you know, in Khmer we never had a way to do it, you know. I mean, this has been a problem ever since, I don't know, ever since like the Khmer language was like reintegrated back into our culture, but maybe after the independence from France. So like, you know, if any like language nerd or anyone who works like, you know, in the language industry, maybe you guys could give me some ideas, and yeah, we'll think of it together and we'll try to work it out. Yeah, anyway, so what can we conclude from this? We can conclude that like, you know, I hope that people who are working in like translation agencies and maybe the government as well, maybe like they could put my romanization into use and also to review it too, because although like some problems arise, we also need others to solve it together. It's pretty much like solving the mystery, like you know how those puzzles you used to have back then, it would like be a square, and then like if you solve it, you know, you have like a picture, right? If you guys like, you know, if we do it alone, it would take longer, but like with the help of you guys and then like with the solidarity of everyone, it will be finished much easier. That is all I have for the conclusion, and I just hope that, you know, one day it may be successful. We've reached the end! Yay! Finally! It's currently like 11 PM, so I'm just gonna end this pretty quickly. I would like to end this by saying that if they decide to use it, like to use my romanization method, like it would be a great step in the right direction, because like there hasn't been a clear romanization system yet. So if this gets accepted and doesn't get 86th on the way, then you know, I would be happy. But don't take my words as gospel, you know, because you know, I'm just a kid, I'm just 16 years old, I'm just a language nerd, you know. as I said, I'm just a language nerd, and I'm just gonna stay who I am. Just come as you are, man. I don't need to change. I'm a language nerd. See, I said it. I confessed it. I professed it. Come on. There's no need to hide. So, you know, if this happens, then it will be like the grand jewel of my career. I would like to end this by saying, even though I'm just a kid, I would like to, like, you know, go for big projects, because as Norman Vincent Peale like wrote or has said, shoot for the moon. Even if you miss, you'll land among the stars. This means, like, you know, if you just go for a big project, even though you fail miserably, you'll land among the stars. You'll land among the names of like people who tried to crack the code, you know. If my name is there on the lists of people who has done this, I am very glad to be on that list. Thank you very much. Goodbye. Bye bye.